I have good news and I have bad news. Bad news first, there's a bunch of wildfires in California where I live right now. The good news, my school canceled all classes until after Thanksgiving, so I now have time to make some movie reviews. The Grinch is the newest offering from Illumination Entertainment. Obviously, it's a remake, reimagining of the classic Grinch story. You had Boris Karloff, Frankenstein himself, you had Jim Carrey, now we have Benedict Cumberbatch. And I guess the general plot of this movie is the Grinch is an angry dude who lives up in this mountain next to the Who's down in Whoville. They love Christmas, he hates Christmas, he dresses up as Santa to try to take their Christmas away. But just like the Jim Carrey movie, that's really only the last 30-40 minutes of the movie, and the first 40-45 minutes is just filler to pad it out so it can be a full-length movie. I want to preface this by saying the animated Grinch TV special is one of my favorite Christmas specials of all time, if not my favorite Christmas special. It's like the Charlie Brown one and the Grinch. Those are my top two. So I am really partial to the story of the Grinch. And I'll say the Jim Carrey movie, I know a lot of people hate it. I know people that grew up around that time really love it. I grew up around that time too. I'm a little mixed on the movie as a whole because there is so much padding, but I don't know, something about the way Jim Carrey played the Grinch I really enjoyed. So I don't hate that version. I don't love it. If I have time each Christmas, I'll watch it, but it's not like priority for me. It's not the Muppet Christmas Carol, you know? But now enter Illumination's version of the Grinch. Similar to the Jim Carrey movie, Illumination Entertainment as a whole, I'm a little mixed on. I really like Despicable Me 2. I haven't seen Despicable Me 1 like since it came out, so honestly I don't even remember what I thought of it. Secret Life of Pets though I thought was surprisingly good. I'm not really looking forward to the sequel, but surprisingly enjoyed that one. Despicable Me 3 and Minions, I both didn't really enjoy that much. And actually I totally forgot, they did already make another Dr. Seuss movie in the Lorax, which I liked when it came out, but again, I haven't seen that one in so long, so I should probably revisit that movie. Danny DeVito played the Lorax. They couldn't get him for Detective Pikachu, but they got him for the Lorax. Oh shoot, why aren't I talking about that Detective Pikachu trailer? I should be doing that instead of reviewing the Grinch. But all of that backstory aside, now to the 2018 Grinch movie. I didn't like it that much. The way I can sum up the structure of the movie as far as things that I liked. Kenan Thompson plays a new character in Whoville. He's this guy who's like the exact opposite of the Grinch. He just loves Christmas. There was a few parts of the movie he felt a little unnecessary, but for the most part, he was my favorite addition of the movie by far. Everything else I liked though, the last 20 minutes or so of the movie again is really good when the Grinch has this whole change of heart, which I don't think is a spoiler. Most of that was pretty good. I got a little teary-eyed in the end, but that's all because I love other versions of the Grinch way more. When you have that emotional connection towards that story, you can't help but think of Boris Karloff's narration when he's all, Christmas doesn't come from a store, maybe Christmas means a little bit more. So watching the end of this movie made me think back to that, which then made me like the ending of this movie. But that's nothing that Illumination really did other than tap into your nostalgia for the Grinch. And then yeah, the rest of the movie was just padding. They try to give the Grinch a backstory as to why he hates Christmas like the Jim Carrey Grinch movie tried to do. I didn't really like what they did in this movie with that, and granted I didn't love what they did in the Jim Carrey one either. Funny enough, even though this is a really bright, colorful, animated movie, and the Jim Carrey one, by all standards, is really ugly. It's really all dulled out and gray. I found more personality in the Jim Carrey Grinch. I think it's just when I was watching this movie, you see the same facial features Illumination uses in all of their pictures. Illumination is a studio specifically designed to save money, so you're seeing character models from like Despicable Me, and for me, it took me out of the movie. Especially Cindy Lou Who in this movie, you look at her face, it is the same exact facial features, facial mannerisms, all that as the youngest girl from Despicable Me. So nothing in the Who's world really did anything to drag me into the movie. Like I was saying, it is really bright and colorful, but it just lacked depth. It lacked soul to me. I also didn't really love Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch. When they first announced him as the Grinch, I was like, oh, that'll be a cool idea. Benedict Cumberbatch, he voiced Smaug. He has a deep, menacing voice. Maybe he's not going to do that for the Grinch, but he could do something similar. But I feel like they just had him do a generic animated character voice. You really can't tell that that's Benedict Cumberbatch. And Benedict Cumberbatch is one of the most recognizable voices in movies right now, so why would you have him change his voice so much? I actually think Benedict Cumberbatch might have worked better as the narrator of the movie. I don't know who you would have gotten for the Grinch in that case, but he would have been a pretty good narrator. And the Grinch himself really wasn't that mean. He kind of just seemed sad or lonely or disgruntled. Like the stuff that you see him do, it would be the equivalent of like the most vile thing he does is he walks by a store with a close sign and he just flips it to open, walks away and goes, ha 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 ha. That's your Grinch? Those are the things that he does? I don't know. For me, it almost felt like at the end when he's trying to steal Christmas, that felt almost too mean-spirited for the character that they built up in this movie. In the end, I really did dig into this movie, didn't I? I wasn't really a big fan of this Grinch movie. I feel like they padded too much stuff out. I feel like the stuff they added really wasn't interesting other than the Kenan Thompson character. It's just, do you ever hear people talk about movies as a product? Like, this movie just felt like a product that they manufactured in a factory to sell to you. Granted, you could say all movies are like that, but this movie in particular, it had that product feel. I think babysitters are gonna really enjoy putting this movie on in 6 months when they put it up on Netflix so they can shut the kids up. And I think daycares are gonna have a really good time showing this around Christmas time. But other than that, I don't really see myself going back to this movie ever again. I didn't see The Nutcracker, so for me, first Christmas movie in theaters this year. Kind of a bummer, but whatever. As far as catching up on movies, I don't think I'm gonna catch up on movie reviews like I was planning on doing like September, October, November movies. A quick recap of all of that: go see Searching, one of my favorite movies of the year so far. Bohemian Rhapsody I thought was really good. Halloween was pretty good, but Halloween's past, so I don't really know if you want to go out and see that. A Star is Born was pretty good. Venom came out. I would watch the second half of Venom again in maybe a couple years, but I don't really want to drudge through the first half of Venom again because it was really slow and boring. Actually, now that I think about it, Venom was the last Stan Lee cameo that Stan Lee would have been alive to see now. That's kind of sad. And then The Predator, I went to go see it and I forced myself to have to go pee in the middle of the movie so I could just leave for 5 minutes. The day that I'm filming this is the Thursday night that Fantastic Beasts is coming out. I'm gonna go see that tonight. I'm really excited to review that, and I want to do a spoiler review hopefully because I really like Harry Potter. Did a spoiler review for the first Fantastic Beasts movie and that was a lot of fun to do. We'll see what happens. I have a little more time now, so I'm optimistic. I am planning another episode of Captain Ty's Movie Night, so look forward to that in the next few days. But until then, The Grinch, have you guys seen it? Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, you can click subscribe and check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.